Hello, I am so happy to be here today with you all for Black Woman Confidential. It is an honor and a privilege to be here to share my story with you. Today, I'm going to talk to you about that secret sauce that we have. You probably know you already have it, but I want to help you leverage it to bigger and better things. My name is Nicole D. Vick. I am a public health professional with over 16 years experience working in public health for a large public health organization. I'm an educator. I teach college students about public health and social justice and have been doing that for the last 12 years. I'm a civic leader. I've been a commissioner at the city level. I sit on 3 boards of directors. I am a fashion and style influencer. I help plus size women feel good about their bodies and learn to shop on a budget and be stylish at the same time. And I'm an author. You know, us as Black women have this interesting experience in the workplace most of the time, where we are sort of in this double consciousness. We are in this state of duality, where we are forced to do things like code switch. And code switching is not just about language, it's about personality, how we speak, the tone of our voice. We often have to present ourselves in a way that is acceptable or appealing to who we're working with. We also face microaggressions in the workplace. I remember once, many years ago in my early public health career, someone making reference to Black hair as nappy. And let me tell you, that was the first time in my life where I felt a bolt of lightning shoot through my spine, because I said, something ain't right here with this conversation. Not only did it make me uncomfortable, I then had to take the responsibility of trying to educate this woman on why referring to Black people's hair as nappy was not acceptable. And the other thing that to me is really, really heartbreaking is oftentimes we have to come to work and maintain the status quo, have a facade up, while the rest of our community is crumbling. And the most poignant example is what happened last summer with the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. And of course, on local levels, we also see that kind of issue happening in our communities. And sometimes we go to work and nobody's talking about it. We want to share or talk about the experience, and the only people at work that get it are people that look like you. And that can be cause a lot of anxiety, cause a lot of stress on our bodies. I want to share with you an interesting experience I had about that double consciousness, literally having one foot in one space and another foot in another space and trying to make sense of it all. A few years ago, I was at my job and there was a training on racial equity. So as I said before, I'm a public health professional, and public health is about prevention of disease and promotion of health in communities. And when we think about those things, we're thinking about social justice. And social justice is all about creating a world where everybody, not just some people, everybody has the same opportunity and access to resources to live their best life. So racial equity trainings aren't out of the ordinary for me in my profession. I'm sitting in this auditorium with about 100 people, mixed company, different levels of the organization. And the facilitator is doing what facilitators do, got the PowerPoint going, got the slides up. There was a slide that just boom, hit that screen. And it caused me so much stress, and just, it put me in a weird space. And it had such an impact on my life. I literally wrote a book about it. So let me tell you what the slide said, okay? The slide said, and I'm paraphrasing here, Blacks fail in every single system in society, every single one, okay? So let me give you some examples. Housing, we are overrepresented in the homeless population. Here where I live in Los Angeles, and I'm sure there are other parts of the country, same problem. We have issues with education. Our children, higher percentage of children not reading at grade level. We have high numbers of students dropping out of high school. We're overrepresented in the criminal justice system. The school to prison pipeline is a real thing. And then we also have issues with healthcare. Access to healthcare is a problem. And then when we can get to a doctor, we have to deal with implicit bias. And implicit bias is about a doctor maybe stereotyping, say, for instance, me, and deciding that I can't afford specialized care, so they don't recommend it. Or they decide that I don't understand my medical condition, so they don't care to share details. Those are all the things that were on that slide. And let me tell you, I was mad, sad, and angry all at the same time, all together. Thankfully, I was sitting next to a colleague of mine who I love and respect, and I was able to look at him. And you know how we do. I was able to have a full conversation with him just by looking at him, no words exchanged. And it really bothered me because, yes, I'm a professional and I understand why these things happen, the impact of racism on Black people in this country. But at the same time, I am a Black woman. So not only is this something I looked at from a professional point of view, but I personalized it. I immediately thought about my family, my mama, my daughter, all my friends, my community, the homies at the liquor store, everybody. Like these statistics really became personal and real for me. It was more than just numbers. They were people. I shared with a colleague of mine how I was feeling, and she said, I understand. She said, the problem is when they see numbers, we see faces. And she was right. So it was a really uncomfortable moment sitting in that space and that time. But I will have to admit to you, this wasn't the first time that I felt like I had my feet in two different spaces at once. 20-something years ago, I was an undergrad student at a prestigious, predominantly white institution. And I walked on that campus a teen mom. I was a statistic. I was the poster child of double consciousness / duality. Like, how am I at this predominantly white institution with all these students that come from money and wealth? And here I am from South Central Los Angeles with a baby, teen pregnancy, struggling to make it through. And it's just like, I've always felt that in my lifetime, I've had that double consciousness. And in some instances, I felt like it was a hindrance to me. So that was that work experience that caused me a lot of stress and strife. And add to that, the other things that we deal with as Black women in the workforce. If we speak up, if we push back, we are considered the angry Black woman. And you all know that that is a hard title to get rid of. And sometimes it causes us to be too quiet because we don't want to get labeled. And then they're wondering why you're not saying nothing. Then if you want to bring something up that is specific and important to the Black community, you get the pushback. Why aren't you talking about the other community over there? They also have problems too. Why does it always have to be about Black people? Why can't we talk about other things? And then when you want to try to get help, support, some kind of backup, somebody to, help you out, oftentimes management who don't understand don't have anything to offer you in support. So not only are we stuck in this world of double consciousness, feet in two different worlds, we often don't get the support we need. And that is at the workplace. If you're a business owner, same thing applies. In the academic setting, same thing applies. So what does all that mean? What do we do with all of that we have to deal with? On top of being a mom or have a family and taking care of everyone else, having to deal with these other things, how do we leverage all of this into something greater, bigger, and better for us? That's where the secret sauce comes in. And again, as I said earlier, I know you know that you have it, but how do we take that and move it forward? I really feel like Black women have this uncanny ability to mix our lived experience, our academic experience, and our work experience into that secret sauce. That is Black girl magic. It cannot be duplicated. It cannot be taught. We literally have to live it and to work through it and to move through it. And that secret sauce gives us a few skills that we have that I would argue nobody else has. That's just me. First of all, we have this uncanny ability to connect with impacted communities, which often look like us. And I'm gonna give you an example. Let's go on back to the time when I was a teen mom. You cannot tell me, no one ever on this planet can tell me what it's like to be a teen mother. I was a teen mom. No one can tell me about the experience of living in South Central Los Angeles. Guess what? Because I live here. So that context that we have, that nuance that we have, the language, the ability to speak and relate is something that a lot of people don't have. And when you add that to that academic experience and that work experience, we can talk to people in ways that no one else can. I think that is a marvelous and amazing skill to have. The second one is the ability to speak truth to power. Now, it can be hard to do, scary to do. But I think, again, once you have lived through something and you have that contextual knowledge and understanding, it becomes easier to say, excuse me, this is not acceptable for my community. This is not acceptable for my family. And this is what we want to see done differently. I think of the women that started Black Lives Matter, right? Speaking truth to power, the people that pushed for more investigation into the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, things that happen at the local level where women have been able to stand up, even if they're afraid, and be able to speak truth to power. The other thing that we can do very well is create opportunities when none exist. We are masters of creating something out of nothing. And I know, if it hasn't been you, your mom or your grandma they know how to do it. And we have that skill. And it's very important, especially in the workplace and in business, when you're trying to create something, when you have no budget, no staff, but you need to get something done. We are the masters of creating something out of nothing. The other thing I think that is ultimately so very important for us is the ability to push boundaries, to push through. When there is someone telling you this cannot be done, and it's like, for real, let me show you how to do it. And we do it. I think that is just an amazing ability that I have personally witnessed my friends and family, Black women, do. The other thing, last but not least, is the ability to advocate, to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Who better to do that than someone that has often had their voice silenced over time? If you have been, pushed down and pushed back and cannot speak forward for yourself, you are the best person to go forward and advocate for others. And so all of those wonderful skills are part of that secret sauce that I just talked about, that uncanny ability to make things happen when oftentimes it doesn't even seem like there is a way to make it happen. So now that you hopefully realize and remember that you have the secret sauce, how do you leverage that into something bigger and better and greater for yourself, for your family, and for your community? There are a few things that I think would be really, really helpful. First of all, you have to know your worth. You have to know who you are. You have to know your story and be able to articulate it in a way that is compelling and can help someone else. Second of all, you have to share your story. I think a lot of us as Black women are so used to, we can't talk about that. That's not something we need to share with other people. Keep that to yourself. We have to share our stories and be willing to share them with other women. I can't tell you how many women would benefit from understanding your struggle, your success, your opportunities, the things that you have done. There are students, there are brand new working professionals, there are aspiring business owners, that would benefit from hearing your story. Gone are the days where we try to keep things to ourselves. Don't tell nobody this. We gotta be open and share. I can't tell you how many times I have shared my stories of struggle being a teen mom and success. And people have said, you know what? I felt like I was the only one that felt that way. I am glad you shared, because now I know I'm not alone. Now I know that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. And now I understand my purpose in life. The next one to me is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You have to lift as you climb. Yes, we are driven. We are passionate. We want to push through, move forward in life. We cannot forget the young women behind us that need to a leg up, that need advice, that need encouragement. It is not optional. It is your responsibility and your obligation to make sure the next generation is prepared to lead. And the only way to do that is to create opportunities for them and to always be looking out for them. And it doesn't matter what setting we're talking about. I have been in a position to help people get hired, mentor women that need help with a job application. And it's really important to do that, to me, primarily because someone did it for me. Someone gave me a tidbit of information, said, go back to school, your salary will increase, you'll be able to take care of your family. I didn't want to do it. That's 2 more years of school. Who got time for that? I did it, and the woman was right. So just as someone has taken the time to help me along, I have to help others. Again, this is not optional. As far as I'm concerned, it is not an option. You have to do this. This is for our livelihood and for our next generation to succeed. For me, my responsibility to lift as I climb is for young students and entry-level public health professionals that are Black and are women. The last thing I'll say that is really, really very important as well is to create community where you are, where you stand right now. You do not have to wait for someone to tell you to do it. You do not have to have $1 million to do it. You can do it with what you have, where you stand in this moment right now. I'll give you an example. So earlier I said I was a fashion style influencer. I love clothes. I love jewelry. I love nail polish. I do all these things. And some years ago, I had met a wonderful young woman that is a fashion designer, independent fashion designer. And I was at an event called Head Wraps in the Park. This is in Los Angeles, down here, downtown LA. And it's filled with all these wonderful business owners, these vendors selling beautiful things. They're all Black. And I was like, I wish I could do something at that level. This is amazing. I can't believe this. How can I get involved? How can I help? And I had a conversation with the clothing designer, and she said, I did something really similar on a very small scale during the holidays. And I would charge all my business owner friends a small fee. They would come bring their things to sell. I would invite all my friends, and we would have a holiday pop-up shop. And it sounded so simple to me, and I didn't think hard about it. I didn't think twice. I said, I'm gonna do it too. And for the last 3 years, I've been holding pop-up shops in my backyard. And that is my way to create community, for one, also to promote and support Black women business owners, too, and also to create economic opportunity here in South Central Los Angeles. If we can recycle our dollars in our community, that benefits us. We don't need to shop outside of our neighborhoods. We have people here that are wonderful craftswomen, that make wonderful gifts that are high quality. We need to spend our money in our neighborhoods. So that's my way of creating community, where I stand with no money and no one had to tell me to do it. So think about what skills you have, what opportunities you can provide for someone, what resources you can share, and leverage them to create opportunity for other women. I hope this talk was inspirational to you. I so enjoyed sharing my story. I hope to connect with you all at some point. My contact information is below. I look forward to seeing you, and please continue to enjoy the conference. Thank you.